Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to begin by telling you all about one of the most memorable moments of my life. It was in my younger years, and my father had taken me to see the movie Toy Story. A movie about a toy who overcomes jealousy and anger in order to get back to his owner, Andy. Of course, at the time, I thought the movie was amazing, one of the best movies I have ever seen. But what I didn't know until now was that that movie was more than just a movie. It was a masterpiece. And a masterpiece not thought up by some Mozart or some Shakespeare. It was thought up by a man with a dream. And this man, ladies and gentlemen, was named John Lasseter. Since John Lasseter was a little boy, he had always dreamed about working at Disney and being one of the cartoon animators. So when he got older, he went to college at the California Studio of Arts. And while he was there, he made several small films, two of which won very prestigious awards. And these awards helped launch him into his dream job at Disney. And while he was there, he even helped assist in making films such as The Brave Little Toaster and Fox and the Hound. However, as time went on, animation began to evolve. And the movie Tron was released, featuring new 3D imaging and graphics that nobody has ever seen before. And Lasseter was drawn into this. He wanted to make it his focal point of his career. However, Disney did not like this endeavor. They thought that this new endeavor would cost jobs and it would cost lots of money, and thus Lasseter was fired from Disney. So Lasseter was now unemployed and he had nowhere else to go. But did that stop him? No. He sought out new jobs and even ran into his old friend from college, Ed Catmull, who had been working at a graphics company employed by LucasArts and had even helped make films such as Star Wars and Star Trek. Ed Catmull hired Lasseter on the spot and even allowed Lasseter to help assist and make the film Young Sherlock Holmes. So time went on, and George Lucas eventually grew tired of this graphics group. He didn't need it anymore. So, this graphics group, the entire group, was fired. So once again, Lasseter, Ed Catmull, and all the other executives that were part of this graphics group were now unemployed. But Lasseter did not stop there. He pushed forward and looked for ways to find money. He started talking to several investors, one of which was the great Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs had recently at this time been famous for his invention of the Apple computer and the Macintosh. And Steve Jobs had been very interested in this graphics group that Lasseter had been talking about, and he sought to see it grow. So he started to invest money into this company. And thus, Lasseter now had the money he needed to bring his graphics group back into action, and thus Pixar Company was born. And it had been solely made to make small films and commercials for several companies. One of these small films was the classic Luxo-Lamp film, featuring a baby Luxo-Lamp jumping on top of a ball to entertain himself. This little film won an Academy Award and can even be seen at the beginning of every Pixar film. However, these successes were not making money. And Steve Jobs was growing very impatient because he had been funding large amounts of money but was receiving very little in return. And thus he was growing very impatient, and Lasseter was once again in very deep waters. But he did not stop there. And because of the deep waters that he was in, he made a risky decision. He decided to make a feature-length film. Pixar had been blown away by this decision. They had never tackled anything that this big before. But Steve Jobs was very impressed, and thus he continued to fund money to see this movie be produced. So Lasseter now had the money he needed, and he began to brainstorm about what characters he wanted to be in the film. And he thought about toys. And now Toy Story was officially in production. He began brainstorming with his executives, creating scripts, storyboards, and even screenplays. But once These early workings were sent in to the producers that had been in charge of producing this film. They saw a film about a toy cowboy who murdered his new companion Buzz Lightyear and was then thrown out the window by the other toys for his crime and fell to his death. In other words, it was not the Toy Story that we all know today. The producers hated it. They thought it was very dull, they thought the characters lacked feeling, but most importantly, Lasseter did not have the time to restart the entire project. But did he stop there? No. He pushed hard. He would spend weeks rewriting the script, rewriting the project, and sleeping under his desk at night just so he could wake up early the next morning and continue working on the project. He pushed his executives to the brink. But Toy Story made its debut. And on that debut, the box office skyrocketed. Everybody was in awe of this production, and Lasseter made so much money that not only was Pixar able to maintain itself, but he even expanded it into Pixar Studios, which was now on par with Universal Studios, Paramount, MGM, and all the other big ones out there. And when I was a kid watching this movie, I had no idea of the hard work it took to make this film. And it was not done by a Shakespeare, or by a Mozart or Picasso. It was done by a simple man with a dream. Now I encourage all of you to go out there and with persistence and hard work, you too can take your dreams to infinity and beyond. Thank you.